Hello, this is Troy from sunny Palm Springs, California, or the like. Host Danny Hargraves, and behind me forgets to. Oh, Alexis, hey to everyone. Hello, Kirby. What do you have to say? Well, Alexis, a little bit of. So, anyways, this is my favorite video games of all time. Part 1. Since this will be going on for at least a couple of users, so this will be my first session of this. So, okay, already. I've got I played a lot of video games in my time. Here's some ones that and when I mean finish, I mean in. So sorry for all of those want to do, but games like Tetris, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, any kind of simulator relation kind of rough of my list, but I will definitely give some games. So yeah, it's not like I'm saying that they're bad, but let's see here. It's just that for the video games that I did like story mode or whatever. But I do like those casual games. I still have first my original copy of Animal Crossing on. Yeah, from and there he goes. Okay. Bowser's Inside Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story or for the DS. So I have DS one. Okay, so oh yes, I'm also going to be playing a little bit of music background, so this will be Showtime from the same game. Okay, so what I like about let's see, Bowser's Inside Story. Oh boy, talk about one of the biggest I'll probably have to do is mention how this one is a little bit of a hot take opinion, but at the time I didn't like it over Partners in Time, and that was just one thing. It's had Fawful as the bad guy of Bowser's Inside Story, and okay, so for the longest time, I never really. Let's see here. I played Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga for original Game Boy Advance, but was unable to defeat that game for the longest time. And I've had a grudge against that game for a long time. So much so that I thought that Partners in Time was a better game in general. And when this new game came out, I was like, ah, it's the funny man from Superstar Saga. I'm so going to rip on this game. And another reason why everybody kind of liked it is that players could control Bowser in a. But didn't that obviously happen in Super Mario RPG? Get to sit down and finish, but I will get to that sometime this year, I promise. Anyways, I did find the combat's good. I don't remember much of the. Definitely want to still get into defeating 3DS for, but it's been like what nearly 5 years or so. So in the case that I haven't really thought of actually defeating it within a month, I finally will do the one thing I've thought about doing for at least like 5 years or so, and finally getting rid of this game, the top 100, because I've only done placed this game, at least Bowser original Bowser's Inside Story, the top 100, to just to make sure that there's nothing that I've missed. Let's see here. At one point, I did have our Saga partners, Time and Paper Jam on the stand. I don't know why they're off, but I think it's just because I've found appreciation of more games come out. So yeah, Bowser's Bowser's Inside Story. I'll try and see. But oh no, right? Find while I. Oh. Hmm. All right. Next on. Oh yeah, I think I should at least get into at least ranking these. All right. Next one on my list will be something of a personal favorite of mine. That will be Tekken 3. The Eddie Gordo theme. Okay, so Tekken 3. Unlike most fighting games that came out during the 90s, like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, Tekken 3 was actually my first little introduction into fighting games as a whole when it came out. So, yeah. And I didn't know it at the time, but Tekken 3 was kind of like a time skip game. I didn't play the first two Tekken games, so I was kind of okay where I started with first Tekken. So, thank gosh for that. I came to immediately appreciate the characters like, see here, Heihachi, Shin, see here, Harin, Paul, or Slee, who was the son of his father, Marshall Lee. There we are. Williams, your King Armor King, Kuma Panda, King Xiaoyu. Hope I pronounced that right. And of course, I'm not going to leave out Eddie Gordo, one of my big mains. I didn't know about Capoeira, and it was kind of a surprise that there was like a first time for video games where this guy could not only dance but beat you up, and it was incredible. I mentioned the Gordo's son just rocked, and yeah, and it had a lot of modes like the Tekken. Well, was there Tekken Bowl? There was that one. There was the Tekken volleyball theme, and let's see here. It also had that one arcade theme where you could hit that one Dr. Boskanovich, and the unlocks the unlockables in the game were insane as well. I mean, at least for getting Gon and that one character that nobody remembers, and Dr. Boskanovich. That all was crazy. Then there was fighting the final boss, Ogre and True Ogre, and those were some good times. I mentioned the animation, the backgrounds, the music. Oh my god, the music of Tekken 3 was insane. And it was really fun and funky. And yeah, also Tekken 3 was one of my childhood games that I have an interesting story. And a friend of mine played it so much and would sometimes get a little bit too angry. And I remember at the time where my mother just had it with me and fighting over the game and made it took the game or took the game, the actual copy of the game, and stored it within our well, not within our within her own closet storage and told us till we were like 13 or 18 or whatever that we're never going to ever touch the game. And I kept that promise, so much so that when I finally became 18, I finally rushed over to the closet, finally retrieved that game. I still have really fond memories of that game just because of that. And then I didn't get into Tekken 4 or Tekken 5 or any of the other Tekken games until I would say Tekken 6 now because I promised that I wouldn't play more fighting games like that until I grew up. So, yeah, Tekken 3 for the original PlayStation is one of my favorites of all time. Hold on. And yeah, on to the next. All right. Right. Next on my list is something of a game that I've been playing recently, and that would be Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for Nintendo Switch. So, yeah. See here. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, when it came out for the Wii U, was touted as one of the best games on the console easily. Not only did it water and mechanics from Mario Kart 7, but it also introduced anti-gravity to the series, which was a big, huge deal. Made for a lot of interesting possibilities for retro games when for the retro courses when they came out eventually. And we didn't know how interesting it would get, but we definitely knew that it was going to be a lot more fun and interesting. Not only that, but unlike the unlike the other games which used a MIDI soundtrack or the like, this would be the first time that the Mario Kart 8 community would have like a big band feel and a jazz feel, and that's why I really really like it. Hmm. So yeah. Any, anyways, what I think. So yeah, when The main problem with the original Mario Kart 8 was that, of course, the battle mode kind of sucked. So, but the DLC that the game eventually got was kind of worth it. We got like 4 more cups with 16 more tracks, and that was amazing. More DLC. And and yeah, that was one of the best games for the Wii U. But when it came to the Nintendo Switch, of course, it would become one of the biggest games on that console as well, and still selling very well, to my surprise. So, for some of this stuff in the game, and it holds up very well, but at least we got a better battle mode in Deluxe, and the driving mechanics are pretty good. Eventually, within our within the 9 years, we finally got like item item roulette customization, music player, and tournament, and that was wild. But not only that, but after like 8 years or so, of when we got the original content and all of that, we got the booster course pass, which added like 48 more tracks, double Mario Kart 8's length, and of course we have to talk about the fact that it didn't live up to the hype originally because of first wave was kind of mediocre, but we saw it getting better and better for each wave. And though some of the tracks after were kind of a question mark, like Sunset Wild. So yeah. But yeah. And of course I'm playing the Berlin Byway song because that song kicks butt. And I and here's to hoping that Mario Kart 9 or 10 are especially better or do something really grand. I, I don't know what's up with going to be up with the series, but I'm glad that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe this and we have it to enjoy it by now. Now to listen a little more to Berlin Byways. Alright. Anyway. Alright. Next on my list is something that you probably haven't seen. Bye. This one is Final Fantasy X for the Nintendo Switch. Alright, so Final Fantasy X is one of those games that I have like so much to say, so I it was one of those games that I wasn't sure of how it would go because it was the game that followed Final Fantasy IX, one of the most underrated games in the series, and Final Fantasy X was one of the first games ever for the PlayStation 2, and until like a few years ago, I haven't really delved much into the Final Fantasy series. So I went so before I went into Final Fantasy X, I defeated most of the mainline entries except for 2 and 8 at the time. And I also played Final Fantasy Tactics, which I will give an honorable mention. Right? And what can I say about Final Fantasy X? It by far has one of the best stories ever, some of the best characters. As for the whole Tidus thing, you're never going to believe what I did, and it's a kind of a crying shame that I did it. For most of the game, turned off I turned off the character volumes for most of them just because I heard that Titus was probably the most preferable character in this series, so yeah. But not just because of the notoriety of that one laughing scene, but yeah. Which some water event. I am getting a little bit parched. There we are. Alright, so Final Fantasy X begins with one of my favorite cast of characters, some of the best lore design, background design, character design. It also has some of the best music, like battle theme. What you could do Teki Dane, and some of the best battle mechanics because it's not only turn-based, but it's like a rock paper scissors theme. Fear Grid, at least in the HD remaster, is like a lot expansive. You can customize your characters however you want to. The end game options, oh man, the end game options are incredible. And I also like its little tropical beach setting, one of the best in the series. As for the bosses, they're hit and miss. Probably my least favorite of the bosses is definitely Seymour because you fight him constantly and I feel like he drags on too much as a villain, but definitely the end point is where it's at. And Otherworld, oh boy, Otherworld is one of the best songs in Final Fantasy. Period. So, yeah. And I don't know what to think about the sequel, X2. Maybe I'll play it one of these days. And um, All right. Um. All right. Okay. So for this one is going to be a tearjerker, but going to do regardless. This one is Professor Layton and the Unwound Future for Nintendo DS. Anyways, Professor Layton and the Unwound. Okay, so let's see here. The first Professor Layton game, Village, was alright. I mean, wasn't bad. It's just that I think there was more potential behind it. Let's see here. Miracle Mask, I believe it was called. Diabolical Ba? I forgot what it was called, but the second game was kind of like, didn't grab my attention as much, but then came Unwound Future, and when you involve time travel into the mix, I I was shocked and surprised. Not to mention the time travel mechanic was not only interesting, but we got more out of Professor Layton as a character of who he is, why he was, and that's all because of his crush, his professor, or whatever. And yeah, the whole story was a tearjerker. It was one of my and yeah, I think the puzzles were handled a lot better, even though there were some times of story roadblock progression that was like totally bad for me. But one thing that I didn't really like about my first playthrough was that part of my save file was corrupted, so I had to play certain parts of the story over again. Probably should or water a little bit. I don't know what's up with that. Hmm. And like a throat lozenge. Hurrying for my voice sound a little bit. Yeah, definitely like this. I played last Spectre game. It was alright. Alright. I think Professor Layton and the Unwound Future is the best of the so far. Alright. Alright, so the next one coming up is Professor Layton X Phoenix Wright. So, yeah, I just definitely love the crossover potential of few franchises and got me into the Professor Layton series as a result. And of course, the puzzles were easy here because it was a crossover game. It also introduced the mob trials, which I think were definitely a precursor to the eventual Great Ace Attorney trials that we eventually got in terms of how many witnesses could be on the stand. That was incredible. Yeah, I did love most of the game, even if the final case dragged on a little bit too long. So, yeah. And it should have been Professor Layton X Ace Attorney because it was more of a combination more than a clash. There wasn't any, like, battle going on in the game, so. Oh, and yeah, the music was very top notch. Like, the trial section got a very good symphonic orchestra upgrade. Alright, and moving on. And next up in my PlayStation 5, PlayStation 2 trilogy will be right? Dragon Quest 8 for the Nintendo DS, 3DS. And yeah, so a little bit of a backstory with Dragon Quest 8. I defeated 1, 3, 4, and 5 before this. Some of the best games in. I haven't defeated 1, but I have defeated 3 to 5 and skipped to 8. I've heard that the first, second, the 6th, and 7th were mediocre. So that's why I headed into 8 and obviously because of the Akira Toriyama style. Thank you, Dragon Ball artist and claim to fame. I instantly like the 3D models more than the 2D models that's shown. And Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the for Nintendo 3DS is one of my favorites. It has a great battle battles great battle system, even though I think Final Fantasy series is a little bit better. The character designs were really good. It had roaming overworld enemies and the like, so you could show. So it was interesting of how you could fight against them. And not only that, but the overworld was kind of fun. The playable characters were some of my favorites. It had an engaging story. It had really fun battle mechanics. Then again, some of the bosses were like really hard and difficult to defeat, especially the post game stuff. I will never ever forgive Dragon Quest VIII's endgame post game stuff. That was just that was just brutal. Not to mention, time I played Dragon Quest VIII was kind of like one of those hard moments of trying to recover from. Like, I played this game like in summer 2020, and 2020 in the summer, at least in August, wasn't fun because of those tragic moments that happened during then. And sure, I have fonder memories of 8 more than I did with 3 to 5, but because of that, I haven't played Dragon Quest 11 yet. One of these days. I know in my heart it's going to be very good, but eh, sorry that I haven't defeated it yet. And of course, there's also the music. I think it's really good. Even though the whole thing with the 3DS version is kind of on shaky grounds. That's something I can never understand. So, yeah, moving on. And yeah, upcoming is one that I didn't know how to feel and probably still don't know, but and that is Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS. And so, yeah, I honestly know how to feel about this game in particular. I mean, the original Luigi Mansion for the GameCube was the see here. It was one of the first launch titles, and even though nobody knew what to expect back then, we all appreciated this this game when it came out for the GameCube later, just because it wasn't a launch Mario game didn't mean that it wasn't going to be good. I've yet to play the GameCube version, although that's just because I got this version when it came out, and I will say that I definitely loved most of it, like the music, characters, the bosses, all of that. I felt like the most of the charm of the game was still in this version. But of course, we have to talk about the controls. And yeah, it was definitely hard to get used to for the controls for me. Maybe I don't know. I used a new Nintendo 3DS, so whatever you feel about the game is valid. I'm just not sure about the control scheme of this, but yeah, but even after all this time, I think that Mansion as a game itself means more than a game itself is fun. I would probably recommend probably playing the original. Oh, right. There's also the fact of the frame rate. I think I've heard that original was better, consistent, so oh, whatever version you like to play is up to you. Got this version. Play the originals. Play like Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. This gets ported over to Switch. All right, and right now this is Kirby's Dream Land 2 for Game Boy. And again, this is one of my childhood nostalgic games that I played. I never. This is one of my childhood games because I never played the first other games before they came out, but this is the one I have fond memories of. And it's just a fun game. I just really like the levels, the characters, the music. Oh, especially the characters with Rick, Keeney, and Q. And if you're hearing in the background, it's Q's theme. And yeah, it was one of my favorites on the original Game Boy. And of course, there's the whole Rainbow Drops theme, which definitely holds this game a little bit back. So, yeah, Kirby's Dreamland at number 93. That's all I have to say. So, Dragon Quest 8. Oh, right. I didn't. Right. And yeah, right. And unfortunately, I cannot do any. Oh, right. Our Hero 3 Legends of Rock for the Wii. Okay, so the quick thing, Our Hero 1 and some of my most underrated. That goes for Roxy. Well, I thought they were fine. Of course, this game came out in every. Not only for the fact that it has one of the best soundtracks of all. Welcome to the Jungle, Sunshine of Your Love, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Raining Blood, Black Magic Woman, Sure Rock, Black, Cult of Personality, If Your Best Cut, Slow Ride, Bulls on Parade, Rock and Roll, on other themes. It also had one of the most cheesy, cheesy stories of this band just trying to become popular, but signed a contract deal with Devil himself. Oh my god, the boss battles against Tom Morello and Slash were incredible. That doesn't even go into the last two. This game back in the day was incredible, though it's still one of my favorites. Okay? And I don't know or think if any of the other rhythm games have surpassed this, but definitely one of the peak rhythm game parts of the late 2000s. It's just incredible time via music. Because of that, I've grown a little bit more appreciation for older music because more than I've listened to more radio contemporary stuff. So yeah, this was my first jumping older music. All right, and going on to 90 is Mario Kart 8 Double Dash. In Mario Kart Double Dash for the original GameCube. I still have this after a long time. Then again, it is one of my favorite games. Just the customized, just the tracks themselves, the music, characters. Oh man, the characters. Kennedy with the items. And this was an incredible time to be a Mario. Even though other Mario Karts felt came and went with their designs and all that, because of its play uniqueness, think that Mario Kart 8 Double Dash is still worth playing to, though it's not as big as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And then another game that I have to talk about is released in music for is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 for the PS4. Well, I definitely grew up in the 90s. I think I've only played the first 2, 3, 4, and then everything later on I never heard about. I was definitely in that kind of blue big thanks to Tony Hawk's Pro Ski 2. And yeah, I I didn't imagine this coming out like a few years ago, and it was really fun and incredible. Of course, all of the special characters of the, so that's just because of licensing. But the original spirit of those funny. Got newer tracks, newer songs, and sure if that helped whatever, but I played this game also with my iPod cranked up to 1,000, so didn't like the music in the game. You could all just mute it and whatever. Yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed it and all that, but one thing that still bugs me is that not most of the collectibles, even that there's secret to find alien hidden collection stuff. To this day, I still don't have alien. Still don't have him. Play it all over. Again, some of the tricks in this game were difficult to pull off the first. Yeah, just really like this. No, I haven't played it. 2020. Another game that I really like but cannot show any songs for it is Guitar Hero Aerosmith for Wii. This game right here got me into Aerosmith alone. By the way, if you about watching this, happy 75th anniversary. And yeah, Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Guitar Hero, but with the focus on Aerosmith tracks. Yeah, definitely got me into their catalog like on from what I heard from the Remember the Titans. That one hockey game. But yeah, definitely have a new known to appreciate Aerosmith. My favorite band of all time, if I'm being honest. I was going to see them in concert last year, but was this wait, it was last December when Steve Tyler fell ill, so hope to see Smith back this year. And ever since I listened to their music, I thought about like, man, where to begin that I haven't even finished that since our hero Aerosmith. And then oh yeah. Number 87, Hades for the Nintendo. Hades is one of my favorite of all time because I got into it because not only was it one of the best games of 2020, but man, I'm just a Greek and Roman classic kind of. And when I heard of this, I didn't know what to think about it originally. Out in a not so good year, but I played it in one, I think. So yeah, my opinion of it definitely. I love the characters and how the game completely realizes certain characters like Hades, Zagreus, Medusa, Tides, Zeus, all of that. And yeah, not only that, but goes for a more cartoon style and more realistic. I really like about it. I mentioned the gameplay is so smooth. Bosses are so challenging but rewarding, and one of the best things about Hades itself is that you're going to die. You're going to die a lot. There's just no strings attached about that, but the best part of this game is that death makes you stronger, and each time you fail, pick up the pieces and keep on going, and eventually you will get there to the top. And yeah, Hades was one of my favorite games, though some of the characters bosses annoying. And yeah, can't wait for Hades 2 for whenever that comes out. So for Zagreus' characters. Number 86. Custom Robo for the Nintendo GameCube. Or should I also should say that it's the Custom Robo Battle Arena in Japan. So, yeah. Yeah, so Custom Robo was definitely one of those games for the GameCube, like Animal Crossing before it, but nobody really talks about this much more anyways, but still have my copy on. I remember don't remember much of the story, but I do remember that the gameplay, the battle mechanics, music, the worlds, the designs all being very good. And yeah, I do have I do remember last few moments of the game being especially difficult. As for its sequel, Custom Robo Arena, was decent if I remember. But too bad we haven't heard any. But too bad there was nothing on Custom Robo after this and Battle Arena or whatever. Oh, sorry, just sad that we didn't get much more of Custom Robo. If had and my last one, which even surprised me. Alright, so this was a huge shocker. So I have really when it came out face to face on me for a little bit, and that is Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. So yeah, when the first game, base game came out, didn't really like it, but eventually it got new characters, new DLC. I do like a lot of the characters and the other guest characters, but the base game story was kind of trash. Aftermath kind of fit, but then, then again, the gameplay was still top notch, and music was top notch, background top notch. Get rid of the story completely, and you'll have a really fun fighting game. I I got into the series when 11 was so I played the 2011 reboot and Mortal Kombat X before it, and that's why I thought the story was fresh comparison to the last two. The, I don't know what's about the character lineup. Well, wrap up the day would, would be this. I have the rare replay version. Have to say that, but yeah, Banjo Kazooie, the best platformers, but the rare replay version to consider because you got to most of your progress. Beside that, Banjo Kazooie is one of the best platformers. It has a great boat of playable characters, worlds, the setting. Villain, oh, Grunty is one of the best villains of all time, no doubt. Level design, the oh, Craig Kirkhope is one of the best music ever. Level design is some of the best, like Grove Cove, Kobe's Valley, Umbo's Inn, Play Clock Wood, and 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 Monster Mansion. And even if like not all of the levels are really good, like Rusty Bucket, and even if like some of the stuff you get to backtrack a little, kind of fun. So I think like the last boss was, I really had fun with this game. It's just, and yeah, not sure what go for this. But the first Banjo Kazooie is like really top notch, and oh my god, the animal transitions are really good as well, and the unlockable. Oh my god, getting getting everything up at power of trying to collect every massive of it, and yeah, so as you can see, I have a few other games that I want to, but fortunately, have so far. What do you? Papaya, 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 Kirby set it off, and yeah, other games that I have on my. But I have to stop right here. For I want to mention, get myself a drink of water. Oh boy, I sound like very sore. Hmm. Sorry for all the coughing. Maybe I just partied hard last night. Well, didn't that too much. So yeah, this has been Try Dry Oasis, and I've been your host, Danny Hargrace from sunny California. Co-host. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this last time. But you can follow and subscribe to me on my on YouTube, donate me my Patreon, on my Twitter under the Dry Oasis under the Dry Oasis banner, and I hope to see y'all sometime soon. And hopefully I will catch up with all of you on upcoming years. So it's just that I'll be really busy January, so my lists are probably the only that you will get for this for next few days or so. So yeah, hope you enjoyed me talking to everyone for at least like an hour. Definitely need to get a drink of water. Definitely hydrate. And I hope that you've had a great day so far. If not, I hope the rest is better, or tomorrow is better for you. Take care, and see you all later. Bye bye.